Hello there, and welcome back to another review. What a day to be reviewing Dragons Forever. So much to be said about this movie. So much. Regarded in so many ways to be one of the best action films of all time. A lot of people, it's their favourite Jackie Chan movie. Just going to be getting into Dragons Forever today. So much to be said about this film. So much to be said. Film I had back on VHS. Love Dragons Forever. I'm sure many of you do if you're into Jackie Chan. Love Dragons Forever. The absolute classic film that it is. Made in 1987 and I believe was released in 1988. Bit of sadness and awesomeness with this film. I mean, the sadness is it was the last time the three brothers of Jackie Chan, Sammo and Yuen Biao all appeared on screen together, but the goodness is it's a very, very entertaining movie, and it's a very entertaining, fantastic movie. Obviously, they did work together after this in sort of parts. Sammo and Yuen worked together in films such as Don't Give a Damn. Jackie and Sammo made Mr. Nice Guy. Yuen worked with Jackie on Shanghai Noon and things like that. But we never got to see the three brothers in a movie like this again. And for that reason alone, Dragons Forever should always be appreciated. Obviously, after this, Jackie Chan chose to focus on his solo career. And I think very much the three brothers all wanted to... I think some argue like Dragons Forever, they were sort of holding on to something. It was a way to sort of recapture the sort of early... The Wheels on Mills vibe. I mean, Jackie Chan at this point was beyond huge. I mean, he was huge 3, 4 years, 5 years earlier. Ever since really sort of 1978. But Jackie Chan was getting bigger and bigger all the time throughout the 80s. And Dragons Forever, you can tell very much he was... it's not like he's absent in the movie, but you can tell just sometimes just by the look on his face he's ready to do other things, like because this is very much sort of a Sammo Hung production. I think Corey Yuen actually may have directed some of this as well, I'm not too sure. It should always be appreciated, this movie. Although Sammo is listed as Sammo's, I did mention, I think it is Corey Yuen who helped with some of the directional duties. It's worth noting that the film did underperform both domestically and internationally, with a lot put down to the characters that our three brothers are playing. They are trying, Sammo and the script and the way the film is, they are trying to do different things. They're not playing the same sort of characters that you're used to. They're trying to give their fans and the audience something else, something different from these characters. And that's where Dragons Forever, I think, really does work. Jackie isn't just playing another cop. We've seen that before. Jackie Chan being like a smooth, womanizing lawyer and not that classic underdog that many fans have associated with Jackie Chan. But nowadays, regardless of everything I've just said, and rightly so, Dragons Forever is considered a classic. It is considered an absolute bona fide classic. And like I say, rightly so. The action scenes in this movie are breathtaking and in a way a lot more aggressive and intense than, say, like Wheels and Mills. There's a lot more ferociousness to the fight scenes. Their characters as well, by their very nature, Yuen being the way he is and Sammo and Jackie. There's almost an aggression in this movie that runs through, and it's something you watch, if you look at it, that... none of the, like the characters and the way the film plays, it's not like all happy fun throughout, and I'm sure they did have a blast making this, but just the way the film is, I'll say there's an aggression with these fight scenes. You say compared to something like Wheels on Mills, the comedy is top notch. The rematch with Benny the Jet is fantastic. Yuen Biao is fantastic as the villain, playing a role very similar to the kind of villain he portrayed in Eastern Condors, but just expanded a little bit more. Many consider this film, along with the likes of Project A and Police Story, to be Chan's best film of the 80s. In some circles, like I mentioned earlier, even regarded as his best film, which I think is very much... I mean, I personally, being a huge Jackie Chan film, couldn't even tell you my favourite Jackie Chan. I think it's probably... I'm not going to get into that now, but possibly Young Master, possibly Drunken Master 2, possibly, the list goes on and on. So the film opens with Mr. Hurrah, our villain, played by Yuen Biao. Is probably one of his most famous roles. He kills one of his rivals, played by, I think, James Tien. I'm pretty sure it's James Tien. He's got glasses on, but I'm pretty sure it's James Tien. We meet Jackie Chan. He's a smooth-talking lawyer, going against type here, as I say, offering this woman money to settle out of court. Jackie's, like, her clients, the goons, turn up and persuade her she won't take the money. Nice, fun fight scene here, which just gets the ball rolling, just gets things happening. We're getting seeing like a Jackie Chan fight scene right away. We're getting to see Jackie bust a move, within the first 5 minutes. I remember watching this the first time too, like when Jackie Chan hits the girl in this opening scene. I'd never seen that before. It does come out of nowhere when he slaps the girl. You never don't really see Jackie Chan doing that much, but he does completely slap this girl because she slaps him and he just slaps her back. And again, not something you see Jackie Chan do in a lot of his movies, but here Jackie actually just slaps a girl around the face. Roy Chow plays the judge in this, who Roy Chow you may remember from films such as Enter the Dragon, Bloodsport, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. Jackie Chan defending a guy he knows he is dodgy, so Mr. Suarez is polluting the water of a nearby fishery from his chemical factory, and Miss Ye, the owner, wants to take him to court. Jackie Chan is tasked with representing Mr. Hua. He develops a crush on Miss Lee, who is like an oceanographer and the cousin of Miss Ye. Then we meet Sammo's character, who is like a misfit arms dealer selling dummy guns. If you look at Sammo here, he's very thin and in shape. He's not sort of as chunky and as fat as he usually is. If you look at, he's very much, because he obviously had just come off of Eastern Condors. He still looks quite slim, Sammo, in this movie. You can tell he's still got that weight loss about his appearance. Jackie Chan contacts him for help, and we have Yuen Biao. He's like this eccentric like neurotic guy. Absolutely fun scene where Jackie Chan goes to visit Yuen for the first time, and he keeps asking him over and over and over again, "What do you want?" And Jackie Chan's like, he keeps talking, and then after every time as he spoke, he says, "What do you want?" Great. I mean, another thing with this film that a lot of people forget, it's a fantastic performance from Yuen Biao. Absolutely, really showing his character skills, really showing how much of a actor he is, and he really does take to the part really well. I think he really does play the part of this really well. Just like I say, playing that neurotic guy, suspects everybody, not sure who he is. It's just great fun, great performance from Yuen. Jackie wants him to bug Miss Ye's house. Basically, is why he went to see him. So Sammo moves in next to Miss Ye, and both Sammo and Yuen are unaware that Jackie Chan has hired the other person. I'm not sure why Jackie Chan's character couldn't let each other know that, right, okay, you're going to be working together. So Yuen has no idea of Sammo, and Sammo has no idea of Yuen. So Yuen goes to sneak in to plant the bug, and I love him doing some like. I always remember me and my friend watching this on VHS way back in the 90s, the dub version. And Yun's doing all these unnecessary flips on the roof as he's sort of going to sneak in, and it was just so entertaining. There's no reason for him to do these flips, but he's just taking it like, move forward, sneak out, watch out for the enemy, and he's just doing all these little great fun stuff. Just say getting into plant the bug. Sammo catches him, and the two have like a wrestle, and Yuen gets a vase smashed over his head. Jackie Chan gets him bowed out. Another cameo here from Stanley Fung, who you will remember from the Lucky Stars movies. Not Richard Eun, but the other one, in case you're not sure I'm talking about, with the mustache. Who plays like Yun's psychiatrist, who informs him that he needs a friend. So Jackie Chan is on a date with Miss Lee and gets a call from Yuen telling him that he is in his house and wants to talk to him. Because he's been informed, like, Stanley Fung said, like, you need a friend, like, to help you deal with everything that's going on. So he's like, go and talk to somebody. So he brings up Jackie's character, and he's like, Jackie's having a nice civilized dinner, chilling out. Yuen's like, yeah, I'm in your house. And he's like, why are you in my house? So Yuen actually sees that Jackie Chan is dating Miss Lee, who has had Yuen arrested. Sammo's character just lets himself in, an absolute great comedy here with Jackie Chan trying to cover up the fact that Jackie Chan is in his house. If you think of like along the lines of like with Project A2, where Maggie Cheung, they have all these different people in her apartment, and nobody can sort of know the other person's in there. It's very much sort of the smaller version of that. Like he's just Jackie Chan's constantly trying to cover up the fact that Jackie Chan and Yuen Biao are there. My favourite being when he puts Sammo in the cupboard and it just explodes due to Sammo's size. Like the cupboard, absolutely, the doors just blow off due to Sammo. Excuse me, being a bit chunky, shall we say? So, always found that quite funny. Sammo and Yuen find each other in a room, and Sammo, not knowing who he is, thinks he is a burglar. So probably would have paid Jackie Chan to let each other know that they're working together to sort of get this operation done. And we have a great fight with Jackie Chan trying to calm them down, and funny stuff with Jackie Chan going to the door with a black eye, then a bleeding nose, which I found hilarious when I first watched it. Because he goes, she's like, I forgot my coat, and he goes to get it, and then he comes out and he's got a black eye, and then he comes back later, she knocks again, then he comes back to the door and he's got a bleeding nose. He's like, you've been drinking. Just really funny physical comedy here from Jackie Chan. So they all go out for a drink, and they're all bruised. They're all sitting, all three of the brothers, they're sitting there unhappy. They're looking at each other with like disgust, because they can't stand the sight of each other. Hua walks in and wants to meet them all, and I love Sammo grinning away and Yuen giving him the evil. Like, Sammo's all smiling. Yuen's like, look, who are you? Yuen Biao has this great sultry look on his face. Fight breaks out here, and it's the usual suspects of Billy Chow and Dick Wei, who are villains in so many of the classic Hong Kong movies. Lo Lei even has a cameo in this movie as like the boss of a gang who wants to take out Jackie. Lo Lei, you may remember being so synonymous with so many of the classic Shaw Brothers movies. Obviously went to go and work with Jackie Chan again in Miracles. So he wants to take out Jackie Chan, even goes so far as to getting his men to pretend to be staff on a boat that Jackie Chan has hired for his date with Miss Lee. With the fight scene on this boat, this was everything you wanted in a Jackie Chan fight scene. It's fast, it's furious, there's spins, there's agility, there's everything there. This is where the film is very different from Wheels on Mills, in that the fight scenes come a lot more frequent and a lot more often. Jackie Chan's a lawyer in this, don't forget, so you wouldn't expect a lot of fights to happen, but they do. And the film has a great pace to it. It does slow down here and there with some of the romance scenes. So after this, we get Sammo trying to woo Miss Ye, invites her on a date, even though she doesn't go. She turns up anyway to spy on him, which is a bit too far. Like, I just want to see how serious you are. So she gets done up anyway and just goes to check that he actually didn't turn up. She's just developing the romance between the two couples, Jackie Chan, Miss Lee, etc. Jackie at one point looking very, very smooth in his leather jacket and his woolly jumper. Looks like something out of the sort of a 80s advert or something like that. But Jackie Chan looked very smoothing it up, laying on the charm. This is what his film is, they didn't like. A lot of Jackie Chan's female fans, I think it's a lot of people probably know that some of them, or one or two of them, have in the past committed suicide because they couldn't stand the thought, being how passionate Jackie Chan's fans are, they couldn't, especially his female fans, they couldn't stand the thought of him being with somebody because Jackie Chan was theirs, they wanted Jackie Chan, so he always tried to downplay his private life. So Jackie Chan in this doing the whole romance thing, I don't think a lot of people were in favour of, especially as I mentioned, these female fans. Worth mentioning, Yuen disappeared for a while at this point in the movie, but while we catch up with him and he's going to a therapist, which is being ransacked by robbers who, through the intercom, advise him to kill all the witnesses in regards to sort of what happened. So Yuen, believing that is sound advice, that's what he goes to set out to do, because Yuen is a bit crazy in this film. His brain is all over the place. He's not sure what he's doing. So if his therapist, or who he thinks is his therapist, gives him some advice, that's what he does. So he goes to kill Jackie Chan and basically lets the whole plot of what they're scheming out. And of course, a fight breaks out between the three. To my knowledge, this is the only time the three brothers of Yuen, Jackie and Sammo have actually ever fought each other on camera like this. Jackie Chan, as well, that I love, is still in his apron because he was just about to have a nice romantic banquet. Just love how after the fight, Sammo and Yuen come out of a station after the altercation, they shake hands and then they basically just flip Jackie off, which I thought was quite funny because it's like the two that hated each other, they've made amends, but they still can't stand, they hate Jackie Chan. Sammo promises Miss Ye he will go to a factory to see what they're really up to, takes Yuen with him and their disposable cameras, and that what I love about it is they just mosey on in. They just absolutely mosey on in. Sammo and Yuen just stroll right in. Get caught and they meet Benny the Jet wearing his sinister eye makeup, and it's great to see Sammo again going for Benny again, going for a rematch, because obviously Sammo as a director thought he could get a bit more mileage out of Benny. He's like, there was still something else he could do with the fight scene between Jackie and Benny. And I think by and large a lot of people prefer the fight in Wheels on Mills. I think Dragons Forever does come close, but there's something special about that Wheels on Mills fight that just makes it just a tiny bit better. That's not taking any away from the fight between Benny and Jackie in this movie, but the fight in Wheels on Mills I think is something special. Yeah, the fight in Wheels, but this one is, as I say, still absolutely incredible. Sammo knew he needed a great villain for this, who would step up to the challenge, and was so impressed with him. I think Sammo was actually so impressed from Benny during Wheels on Mills that he's like, I've got to work with him again. I mean, bearing in mind how meticulous and things like these Hong Kong productions are, especially Sammo, who was like a workhorse, he wouldn't just necessarily He only would do things he believed in and was 100% behind. He was more than up for getting Benny back in. He obviously, like I mentioned, was more than up seeing what else they could come up with. The action in this film is second to none, even though all three brothers were probably thinking of their own careers at this point, doing individual projects. Sammo gets injected with narcotics, Jackie Chan withdraws from the case, Yuen informs him about Sammo, and they go to get him back. What an ending this film has. This film has an amazing... the whole film is incredible, it really is. Yuen on fine form, doing some amazing stuff here, backflips on guys' shoulders, and I love, this is where I can't stress how important Sammo Hung is, because you have not, as much as a performer and as an actor and as a martial artist and a choreographer and a producer and everything that Sammo is, he was always been more than happy to take a back seat. And if this Dragons Forever is no exception, he could have quite easily, the ending could have been all three of them taking on the goons and the thugs, right? He's like, no, my character will get injected with narcotics. Jackie and Yuen can take over the action. And that's what he does. He's always been more than happy for other people to take the limelight, not just him. He wants to show other people what they can do. I'd say it would have been great if all three would have been involved. The stunts here are insane, falling from walkways, crashing into pipes, one of the best endings I think in Hong Kong movies you will ever see. I think it's one of them endings if somebody said, can you sum up to me in one scene sort of what classic golden era Hong Kong movies are like? Just showing the ending of Dragons Forever. Just amazing stunt work. Yuen here on fine form. Really just, he is doing some amazing, on these walkways and everything, he's doing some incredible stuff. Yuen taking on Billy Chow, and he does like this, if you've seen the painful backflip that he does, where he lands, he sort of falls back and he sort of lands on his shoulders, Billy Chow, and it just looks so painful. Yuen gets knocked out, passes out, basically very much in the same sort of vein the way he did in Eastern Condors. Then we have the classic end fight with Jackie and Benny. just amazing stuff, as I mentioned. The rematch is more than justified. Plays more like a street fight than, say, a kickboxing fight. Great combos, great fist work. You really do, like with the Wheels on Mills bout, you really do feel every single punch, every single blow. Though most always, like I mentioned, most prefer Wheels on Mills end fight. This is more than a worthy competitor. The end fight to this really does work. Sammo Giswa, the the poison needle. And I love how it ends with Sammo carrying out Yuen and Jackie carrying out Miss Lee. I thought that was always a funny shot. Sammo carrying out Yuen Biao. Whilst Wheels on Mills has less fight scenes, there is a more sense of fun. This film borders on romance, but at the same time, the fight scenes are a lot more frequent and a hell of a lot more furious. But Dragons Forever is something that you owe it to yourself to see. There's probably, if somebody said, right, what are the top 10 Jackie Chan films I must see? I think most would agree Dragons Forever has probably got to be in there. It's definitely got to be high on the list for films you have to watch, just for classic, fun, golden era Jackie Chan. And just great seeing Sammo, Jackie and Yuen together. I know they did all sort of work together in sort of roundabout ways. Like I mentioned, Sammo directed Nice Guy with Jackie. Jackie worked with Yuen, and Yuen Biao even has a cameo in Miracles. But the last time that all three are all together in a motion picture from start to end, and that's why Dragons Forever should sort of like always be appreciated, because it was the ending in a way. It was almost like the three were sort of not closing down shop, but sort of getting ready to just move on to different things. Just sort of like that moment of our careers has gone. We're all where sort of we'd like to be. We're all in that. We've done that. We've set out. And that's the thing with you're an artist, any type of artist, whether you're a film star, martial artist, anything, musician. You don't want to just necessarily do the same thing over and over again. You want to move. You want to do other things. But please check out Dragons Forever. Please check it out. It's absolutely an amazing film. Absolutely amazing film, and a classic golden era Jackie Chan. So go check it out. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.